I am so happy to be here, and I pray that I'll speak so ably as my mother was speaking here. I think I was just listening to her number. Was it 0712 315 993? Yeah. I was telling the youths that you show importance of anyone whose number you have by keeping it in the head. That when the phone goes, you still can keep that number. So she didn't give me her number, but I gave her mine. So when she was saying, I said, oh, okay, this is the only time I'll get it. You know now that I'll never forget it, yeah? That's what I do. Anyone I meet, if they give me a number, I look at it, I'll look at it again, I'll look at the third time. That's all. Yeah, because phones are always a problem. When you are in need, the best person that you have is you to keep it. Yeah, and you need to depend upon you. The problem is that we like depending on gadgets. And I think gadgets have made us a bit lazy, isn't it? Yeah, and that is the problem. I don't know where Elder Chata is. He wanted me to tell him to make it easy. My discussion today will be very easy. I literally just want to talk about a simple subject. And Jesus said it well in Luke 14, verse 28. And I'll just read it, then we'll get to it. It says, I don't know what version this. I bought it from a literature evangelist. It says a clear word, but it says, it says, you see, it's like this. When you plan to build a house, don't you first sit down and figure out what it will cost to see if you have enough money to finish it? 29 says, if you don't, you may find that you only have enough money to lay the foundation and will be the talk of the neighborhood. And people will say, look at that. He started to build a house and can't finish it. Now, I think this is Jesus talking about it. Now, many of us, a month starts off very nicely with what looks like a bunch of money. Then suddenly, by the middle of a month, we are so annoyed. I keep saying, instead of having a lot of money at the end of a month, you have a lot of month at the end of the money. So it's very common, isn't it? Now, what I want us to do just now is I'll ask everyone here, we'll take a moment. I want you to draw a budget. Just draw a budget. Do we have singers here? We can be singing. I want people to write their budget. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it is long, it is more than your income, just write it down. I know many of you have not done that. Everything for the month. Whatever you want, you'd always do in the month. Write it down. Is that hard? Let's start. Let's just write. Okay, let's just start writing. Who are having a problem with that? Let me know. This is the only way today I am going to show how easy it is you can prune unnecessary expenses. Are we together? Are we writing? You can even write on your phones. Oh, let me see. I may even have paper here. Let me share. I am very willing to make sure I share paper so that people can write something. Yeah? Yeah, I've got some paper here. Who needs paper? There. You don't want to write, eh? It doesn't matter what currency, whether bond. There are a number of them. Okay. I know your confusion. You don't have a pain. You have it in your head. Everything that you need, everything that you put down is very small. Ah, very good. Yeah. Okay. If you go to Solusi University, they will teach you this, isn't it, ma'am? Yeah. Yeah. I sit on the Rusangi University board. Many of the people that are there, some of the lecturers and the pastors, especially in our conferences and mostly from Solusi. When we were joining the church in the early 90s, all we knew was Solusi. I chair the audit committee there. My children have come from the Adventist background, and they've been going to these schools. You see very good behavior in children that you don't see around that more often. Recently I was talking to my daughter. We had gone out with my wife and her. Then she was having pictures and getting nice pictures, and she posted some. Then the mother said, "Have you seen the pictures your daughter has posted?" You can continue writing while I'm saying this. Said, what is it? He says, you wouldn't like them because she's completely naked. I said, oh, okay. You want to talk to her? She says, no. You should talk to her. Then I called her. I said, madam, please come, let's talk. Now she has a soft spot for me because I'm the father. I said, you see, do you think I'm a responsible father? He says, yeah, I mean, you're the best dad around. I said, so do you think what I'll tell you will make sense? He says, yes. I said, okay, come, sit down. I said, when you go into the bush, there's no toilet, and you decide to leave your droppings in the bush, what happens? If you don't cover them, what happens? She says, those big green flies come there. I said, yeah. So why have they come there? Says, because you've exposed your dirty there. I said, you see, when then I said, okay, that's cool. Before I go to there, I said, okay, let me look at your phone. She's got an iPhone that I bought. I said, oh, yes. This iPhone, you have a screen cover, isn't it? Yes. Why? No, I don't want it to be scratched. I said, that's good. Very good. So you are protecting the iPhone screen cover. I mean, the screen. Says, yes. Says, you are able to protect the phone. Says, yes. Says, my daughter, you're able to protect this and you're failing to protect your legs. Then I said, do you know that for as long as you expose yourself like this, only flies will come on you? Good men won't come, only idiots will come. Because only flies will come. Now, do you know what happens when you do that in the bush and you cover it? Says, yes. Who comes there? No one. Says, yeah. They will have to think twice to come there because you have covered yourself. Many people don't come to decent girls. Only those who are decent. No, it was a by the way thing. I thought maybe you should be telling some of your daughters like that. Are we writing? Have we finished? Have we finished? Did what I say make sense? I'm sure most of you, your phones are covered, but you don't want to cover your legs, huh? Okay. Have we finished? Okay. Let me just ask 2 or 3 to walk with me in front. Whoever is willing, just come. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I just want us to discuss. Anyone willing to come? Don't be afraid. I'm telling you, I've never beaten anyone. Elder Jawango is here. Any other? Any, doesn't matter really. It shouldn't take long. Just stand like this. Any other? Just one. It doesn't matter really. A lady? Yes, sir. Please come. Now, please, a lady, don't. I mean, ladies, if you know, I'm really rooting for you to come and rescue me here. Any lady? My sister from the bank? Please come. Yeah, you know, that's what happens when you know some people. You know, I'm saying, I know you are very shy, but don't worry. I just want to. Yeah, there you are. She was telling me, no, you can't be telling people that you should not be giving. I work at the bank. Okay. Now, Elder Chawangwe, I want you to tell us what you've put on the budget, how much it comes to, the whole total. I can calculate for you. $1,080. Are these all your expenses? Okay, very good. That's all. That's all. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's all. And you, sir? 100. Okay. This is 220, 270, 272, 30, 352. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll be waiting for you. Okay. There. 750. Are you sure this is exactly all your expenses?
So I took my budget after like standard things. So I've got my mortgage repayment, my tithe, whatever. I've excluded that. I've just done the expenses after. Yeah.
Thank you. All of you, you've just looked at your fixed expenses. Nothing else? Okay, that's fine. Please take a seat. Thank you very much. Let me start from there. Are you able to, from what you've done, what you've written down, the likelihood is that you possibly have done what all of them have done. You remove some kind of expenses that you feel that are in the back of your head. And you say, okay, let me just put these are the critical ones. I'm a victim where I say, okay, I'll put these others, I think I'll maneuver. Do we do that? Do we find that we've maneuvered still? Do we manage? The reason is that they are not written down. Everything must be written down, even if it's 1 quarter. You have heard what I've said? You must write down everything. Please take money where it's supposed to be, or else it will take you to places you don't want to be. Everything, write it down. Even if it doesn't look like a cost, just write it. As long as you know you do it. You understand? Yeah. There are some things, some places, even some things that you don't even care. I know tomato rape, you don't put it there. I've not seen on anything like that. Vegetables, what you pay in the everyday, put it there. How much is it? It's not a good exercise. I know you don't like it. It doesn't sound like you are being cool. I mean, you're looking like a miser, but you are struggling anyhow. Yeah, groceries, most of the time, you're just looking at groceries you're going to buy in a supermarket, but not on a daily basis. You see, unless you are putting it there, because I know for my wife, for groceries is slightly over $700. But what she does is that she's very, I'm looking for the right word. She's very clever. She has put those figures up to mid-month. After that, she calls me. You should leave. So what started is that she had all of this money. All the time she would have it, and she started saying, I think people are using a lot of tissue in here. So I'm removing tissue from my budget. So I tried to fight it. I knew that I'm not going to win. You know those fights where you can't win. Eh? So then I saw vegetables coming little by little. And I said, okay, this one as well. So recently, she's now, or again, she removed relish. This relish, like chicken. She's very strategic. She's moving little by little until I said, chicken is the last one, madam. Now I'll be buying everything. So what I've done is that whatever she has removed, I have put it on my budget. You understand? On mine. And on mine, I have put everything, including little things. My daughter was laughing when I was doing a budget with her because they were doing budgets in grade 5. I said, let's do budgets together. And I put girls' hair. Then she laughed. You put this, Daddy? I said, yeah, even for your hair. I've got 3 girls. You know what that means? That's an expense. Hey, because me, you see, just so she sent me a picture just when I left, because I was coming here. I left the money to do hair. She says, Did you look at me? I look beautiful, isn't it? I said, man, at my expense. But I said, yes, you do. I mean, I'm the only guy that must tell her that she's more beautiful than any other person, yeah? I said, yes, you do. I said, yeah, I'm waiting for you to see. I said, yeah, cool. So, but you see all of that. I jot it down and I ask them, when do you think you are going to remove this hair? Then tell me by this month. So I also jot it down. Yeah, my hair is about in a compound is just 20 kwacha. If I go at a mall, it's 50 kwacha, 50, 70 kwacha. I put it there as well. Fuel, I put. Anything that just is a problem, I can show you on my phone. I have budgets for the last 3 years. Every month. So the reason is that if I know the kind of income I will have, I must know how I'm going to spend it. If I don't, then I won't spend. So when I receive money, I never spend anything before I do a budget, because that's what is going to direct me where. So tell me, how do you shoot without a target? So now you are like a soldier who goes just shooting anyhow. Poo, poo, poo. You first say, we one is the enemy. Then you shoot them. So many of you just shoot. All the time you are shooting. You are very bad soldiers. Am I lying? Then you lose armor and bullets. Then by the time the enemy comes, the bullets are all gone. You have no power to kill. So what you do, you go and get bullets from another person. Then when you go there, then they kill you. You're surprised. You understand what I'm saying? So therein lies a problem. Even I'm a chartered accountant, but even me, it took me years. I was doing budgets for companies I was working for, except my own. The fear was that I knew that in the day I will budget, I will know where my problem is. And that's your problem, isn't it? So that is where you start from. So everything, even when you intend to buy a shoe, socks, I know you just go and buy when you want them. You can't do that. Everything, lotion, soap, eyebrow pencil. Or you just get them when you need them. So what happens? You just buy them because polish, little things. I make sure that you put them there, little everything. And if someone sends me money and it's within the money that I have, I just jot their budget there. I make sure I budget to the last day of the month when I'm receiving the next income. And what I do is that I'll add extra 5 days just in case that income I'm supposed to have doesn't come. So now I know, my children, when they're like this, boys, they're like this, they're difficult to feed. So now I have a son who's reached a stage where his stomach is a bottomless pit. You know those boys? They eat, they don't get full, Yeah. So because I know that there is a son who is in a bottomless pit stage, I started planning for him. So my wife, I was talking to her, she said me, I've brought him. So I made sure before I was coming, I said, buy enough bread because I know this guy. Just for this period when he's around for 2 weeks. Because he just wakes up. Even when he's done nothing, he just comes, gets. Now, you can't continue telling him stop eating. And you see, the problem is that he had become this big like me. He goes to the boarding. And the boarding school where he is run by the police. Now you know what that means. They are orderly. So you only eat when you're supposed to eat. So he's become very lean but taller than me. So when he comes, even my last born daughter, whenever she's eating, I don't know how girls are like this. Whatever remains, do you have daughters like that? Whatever remains, she eats. Even when you buy something, says, I'm going to give my brother. I said, what? Eat? He says, no, he doesn't get full. I said, what? But after 2-3 minutes, they will be fighting. They don't want each other. But somehow, you see, I said, I didn't have this kind of rivalry, but we still love each other. But the issue is that he eats until food has gone. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, that is what I was telling. The problem with our generation is this. If you look at the Israelites, they were giving. What stopped them was the announcement. Here we announce. What stops us is the giving. Am I making sense? Bring money for the camp. Bring money. The day you stop announcing is when you have the money. Am I lying? Because they didn't plan for it. But the Israelites, they were what? You have to stop them. You make an announcement to stop them. Are you sure you do the same here? I'm sure even now, there are still some dates after we've gone that will have to be dealt with in a committee. When everyone has gone. Oh my God, I don't know. And you sit here and I'm telling you to budget. You're not even budgeting for this camp. Zero. Just your issues. And just by the grace of God, this is a problem, saints. We need to pray for each other. This one is a spiritual problem. Yes, because I've shown you that the part that we are looking at is simply mathematical, It's just maths. Even if you put it on the board, if your character has not been worked on, you'll still buy something that is not on there. So that's why I'm saying that if you learn to write it and you see it, and every day you tell yourself, it becomes easy to begin to do it. But the problem is that we don't write it. We simply follow the desires of what our body structure tells us to do. So anything that comes, we simply follow it and do it as and when we're supposed to do it. And in the end, we are surprised we are broke. And we look very surprised. And begin to pray to God that, God, please. I even find out there are prayers that, God, please give us jobs that will give us more money. And you get that job. God gives you the job. And it is 20,000 more than the other job. You know what you do? You simply move from the house in whatever compound you go to Borodale. So you do what is called lifestyle inflation. So you're basically, you see, what has changed is your income, but your behavior is the same. So you see that by the 15th again, money has what? Then you say even so. Now this one is serious. There's a yeah, man. There's an elder who was getting $10,000. Now I'll just use semantics because you're putting it on camera, so I'm sure he may know I'm talking about him. So he was getting $10,000, yeah, and apparently what he started doing, that's quite a bit of money, isn't it? Yeah, so he immediately started getting that kind of money. He sometimes would fly to Africa for lunch. Isn't it good to show off? Isn't that? And one of the children was in South Africa, one was in some Western country I won't mention. This plushy, and he was paying for it. Now, in the beginning, if you're spending, maybe you're spending 5,000, that's fine. Then you keep adding, then you start now going to poshy hotels. There's nothing wrong as long as you plan, but you go there. Then eventually, his expenditure became to 11,000. You see, per month. You know what I mean? So what does he do? What does he do? He goes to what? You know what I've seen on earth, elder? I'm sure you who are old, you have seen many times than me. Some things that you do, you want to play with nature. I don't know why this happens. Have you ever gone to the grave? At the grave, they will remove a lot of dirt and create a hole, isn't it? Hi. And okay, I see it in Zambia. I don't know about here. Then the person, they'll even bring cement and maybe some stones and quarry dust. Then they'll put it down there. Then they'll lower the casket. Have you not seen that they've put a casket there? They've put back the dirt and the soil, and they'll still be looking from soil from somewhere to cover it. Doesn't this surprise you? Holes, as long as it's a hole, it cannot be filled. So when you go and get $1,000, you are simply creating a hole that you won't fill. So he got it until he reached a point where now his debts were up to here. Now, so at a certain time, there's a close friend of mine who is not Adventist. So he was chairing that same committee where he was. So he calls me. Now, sometimes there's sarcasm among friends. He's Catholic and says, "You chap, you an elder. This is an elder. Who is he?" So what we've done now, we have basically started managing his salary as a committee of the board. So when his salary comes, we now sit him down and say, "Okay, come. Where are your debtors?" So they are telling him, this one goes this side, this side, this side. Even after they do that, he remains with nothing. They plead with other debtors. I said, "Can he just remain with $500? Now, he was working for a professional organization that couldn't allow that. Until now, because there were so many, he was failing. They eventually told him, "You either resign or we fire you." So he left. Now, I'll say it very slowly. It's not how much you get, it's how much you keep. So if you don't budget to the tito, to the vetting way, you will always be in the position where you will need more. Are we together? So even if you don't like it, please, when you go tonight, just write down everything you do in the month. Remember it. Remember, even if it doesn't make sense, remember it. Then when you write them down, get the total. Everything, don't miss anything. Get the what? Then now compare what you've put down that you do in a month and what you already know is coming as an income. Okay? Then you will see where the problem is. Then you say, okay, If my income is $5,000 and my expenditure is $6,000, now where then am I supposed to remove with things that I can do without? Is that difficult to do? Surely, if you do this, you will see you come to hear and worship without thinking of money. But I know it's impossible. I always tell people, even at church, I was just talking to the Adventist men who are supposed to buy 50 bags, because next week as we'll be doing camp, we'll be giving food to a local community, 50 bags of midi meal. I was saying, even if you guys won't find this, we will find the money. It may not be you, but we'll find the money. I am usually very selfish with the blessings of God. If you don't want, I'll do it. But the issue is that we must just do it. So the issue with many of us is always to think of what we are going to gain. And what happens is that problem that we have of putting self first creates an environment where we fail to finish and subdue the budget. And the biggest problem is not necessarily money or the fact that you have it, is to deal with self. You fail to beat it. And you all know the person you're failing to convince is you. Even here, if you learn to convince self on things that you know you can do without, there you have won the battle. Many times you want to win other people before you win yourself. That's the biggest problem that is there. I can say many things, but all I can simply say is that budgeting is simply maths. The rest is a human being making sure that they follow that line of thought. It's the same. You've got laws that you've put, there are 10, but you go to them, you see, I've broken this. How do I do better so that I don't break it? It's the same. You need to create a budget as a mirror for what you spend tomorrow. If you don't, this will continue. It's a recurring problem. Jesus said it. And that's a problem everywhere. I can say many things, but this is the biggest problem. Character and following the budget to the letter. If you've seen your life, if you just did a throughput in what you do on a daily basis, you find that what you do is what is causing the situation you're in, no one else. And you make that decision yourself, because you know that when you are going to buy ice cream that you like so much you can't do without, there's no gun that makes you buy it. Then if you have to unlearn that, there won't be a gun. And that's what we are saying. So can we please have a change in that? Is that possible? Are we going to do it? Are you sure we're going to do it? Can we start today? And by the time we go, the people will even see that there will be more money at the end of the month. Is that something we can do? Yeah, and when we do this, even if by the time we are done, we went with $2, that's you can even jump and say, yes, I have managed. What is the problem is that by the time you are getting to the next month, you find that there is these 3 days where you will be pulling yourself and you pray to God that sudden. Have you not seen that in Lusaka, usually there's a young brother of mine, he runs, we call it matebeto, food, like he does food. But my wife is in government, so usually she would call me, are you going to tell your brother to bring food? So usually I would say, no, my friend, go and buy. So now there's a period, up to a certain period, maybe they'll buy in their office because they're government workers. Then maybe a week before, my young brother will call me, Mdala, government number. Now they've stopped buying. Is that injury week? Then you see, and that week you find that there's no traffic in town. Early in the morning, does it happen here? No, here it doesn't. There's a lot of fuel. Then you find that when you're driving in Lusaka, there's not the usual traffic. Then food, people who sell food, they'll even tell you, You see, it's dry now. Totally dry. And when you go to eat at this place, you find that those of you who go there are those that don't work. You know what I mean? Those that do, I mean, those that work for themselves, that have got companies on their own. That's one. So he will call me, just buy for your wife this period every day to help me, because I am literally going into. Then just after that week, you pass through there. There are many. So people, even they say, now, okay, we've now gotten paid. So now let's treat ourselves for a period, then you become poor. So it's a cycle. So it's more like an opium where you get drunk, you become better, then you go back to drunkenness. You know what I mean? Seemingly, people love to be abnormal in a certain way. You know, even you know the way beer is, because people are saying, "Let me go and buy abnormal so that I just begin to see the ground differently for a day." So you buy madness for a day or two. You know, it's madness. You say, I don't want to be normal for a period so that tomorrow I'm okay. So what you do is that you go and live like this up to a certain date. And after that date, you say, okay, now I go struggle again. Then after the struggle, you go back to where you were. So it's a cycle that you've lived for many years. And you know, you've still bought clothes, and you've bought houses, you've educated children. But you see, now if you reach an age of 60, you're still doing that. Just wait, because now you'll be sick and be going to the hospital all the time. And that's why you find that at this age, between 60 to 90, we have very few Africans who live. You know what I mean? Huh? So even you can tell me that your fathers, your grandfathers are already gone. Most of you here are already orphaned in that area, because all they did was the same procedure we're doing. And you think that it doesn't have an effect on your life. So who is going to pay for your? Maybe here there's for elderly people, they just do them for free. They do in Zimbabwe. So you pay. So when are you going to plan for that? You are waiting for the pension. There you are. So create your own pension. That is what I'm saying. Are there any questions? This I cannot re-emphasize. I can't say it many times. It's simply learning to do simple steps. And if you do them, you will see. You cannot, it's difficult to tell someone that this is what happens until they see. I personally, I have done it, and I've done it for many years. And I'm telling you, every day, it doesn't worry me. If I would die, it's because the money can't take me to the hospital anymore. It's just that God wants to take me. Or I am in the hands of someone who has misdiagnosed. Not I have failed to pay for these fees. No, I told myself I will not, because this is a decision. I have power to change this. Me, not anyone else. And I won't even be saying, okay, my relatives. I was even laughing somewhere, a friend who was eating until he became too big, and he is now asking for money to be taken to India to do a bypass. Said, you are eating yourself to have a bypass, and you're asking for money for people now to go and take to the hospital so they can just remove and put a small stomach outside the stomach, so that when you eat, you feel satisfied, then you lose your weight. What kind of foolishness is this? But we do this on a daily basis. Yes, ma'am.
As an African child, there's this, I don't know where we should put it, images fund or what, where we have relatives. Okay, fine. Maybe there's a situation with the family, funerals, and there's this money that has to be contributed. Where do we put that money? Under what?
Exactly. I love this question. I think last time I had it where the other church, the last church I came, I had the same question in the afternoon. Put it on the budget as a line relative help. So that, because funerals don't happen every time, if it does not get used, you keep it. Simple. Yes. What? What? Yes.
Call and say, oh, you know your aunt, that child, make a plan. Every week there is a make a plan.
Okay. And now that's what I'm saying. You put a line of expenses, including that aspect of relatives. You get what I'm saying? If you are going to put $20 per month, if you for 4 months you are not getting it, how much are you going to have? $80. That's the only limit you have in helping those relatives. Beyond that, you don't have. Otherwise, you'll be sharing poverty. That line is not there. That's what I'm saying. That budget for every. You didn't hear me. What I'm saying, you cannot for. That's what I'm saying. Put it there. It must be on. It is on my budget. It is there. I call it contingent. If it's finished, it's finished. You want to give your life now. What are you going to do? So you basically want to become poor and be beaten until you die because of a relative. So for me, I've seen your hand, my brothers. For me, let me tell you one thing. I have educated over 10, if not so, of my relatives. One of the daughters I'm talking about here, I got her when she was 10. She's now in second semester. I was putting a line every day. A line. So when this one goes, I'm already preparing for another in the immediate family. Every day in the line. When they come, I already know where they'll go, which school, and what I will do for them. It's budgeted for. I cannot plan to bring anyone if I don't have anything. So I do it, and I do it because it's on a line. It's there. The problem, you didn't hear me when I said, put everything. You have relatives. I know you're Africans. Even you think me, I'm not African. I come from Zambia here. Just here. Look at my skin. It's like yours. There is no difference. But I plan. I know relatives are there. Now, most of you do this so that you can look like you are better people in. You know what I mean? Now, you see, this is the problem. Now, before I allow you, my brother, you see, us in Africa, we love this. When you have a lot of money, even for a funeral, you want them to wait for you. Have you not seen that relatives in Africa, if you have a bit of money, there's a funeral, they just hear you are coming, the one who is going to now to pay for all they'll come from outside, they will cry around you. They will cry. Then they will escort you in the home. You don't do it here. Some of you are the ones they do it to. So you are ashamed. Then they take you inside there. You sit there, you cry. Now it's like they're waiting for you to cry. At the time you are here, they will cry more. Where somewhere just falling down. Now when they finish crying, they will tell you, we have water for you to bath. Now, if you don't bring money and you say they see you go and bath, how come you are bathing? And you see, now they will also have a bed for you. Where can we take? Can we take you there? So if you who's poor don't sleep at the funeral, they'll tell you don't even sleep at the funeral. It doesn't do that happen here. Because you see, there are these big buyers that you give respect. That has to stop, because now you have to make sure that when you empower a lot of you, they won't be crying for one. Even if you are not there, you see, that's what the pastor was saying. When they are crying, they're even crying that they should go because they have no one else. You can't do that. It has to stop. Plan for the relatives. Put a line. You've heard, huh? If you want, you can say relatives, $20. When it has finished, what are you going to do? What you do what you want to borrow for them. But even them, they should learn. Are you the savior? Did you die on the cross for them? Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yes. No. Two comments really. So we always have actually, I'm an accountant background, but
Yes.
my wife always says, she's not here to to say, oh, she's here. Okay. She always said that I don't behave like an accountant.
Yes.
Okay. Because I should be the one who should be very strict in terms of budgeting.
I feel pity
okay?
for you.
Yes. So the principle, the principle that I wanted to say is from what Sister Z was saying.
Yeah.
So maybe you can help there.
Yeah.
Okay. Because a budget is not a fixed Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you do your budget, so I'm applying. That's why I put that disclosure first.
Yes.
I'm just applying my accounting background,
Yes.
not what I do at home.
Mhm.
Okay. So when you do a budget, okay, and you put in your allocate.
Mhm.
So in this case, we put it relatives, whatever. We put
Yes.
it there, right? Let's say $100.
Yes.
Okay. A budget is revised at some certain stage. You're going to help us in terms of how often are we going to revise our budget. So this is when now you go back and you say, oh, okay, we put in relatives budget. How much did we spend over the past month or in the past 3 months? Should we increase it or reduce it? You get it, depending on how many relatives are coming to you asking for money. Okay, so that is what I just wanted to say, that a budget is not like a fixed thing that you need to say you revise it, but you agree in terms of how often you do that.
Yes.
Then the other thing.
Can I
what
answer that before you go to the other thing, so I don't forget?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I is an accountant, and I love that. Now, I'll try as much as possible not to be so nice to how I'll answer this one. Yeah. If your income is 5,000, is your income fixed? It means you can only spend how much? It means your budget is fixed. Are we together? So if there will be any revision, it will be revision among the lines within the budget. Are we together? Now, you've heard of fiscal discipline. A country will budget at the beginning of the year. Now, if you've heard many times your Minister of Finance, he talks about this. There must be fiscal discipline. If there is fiscal discipline, it is easy to control inflation because you know that what you're going to spend is exactly what you budgeted for. Now, if he subsequently, after 3 months, the Minister of Finance goes back to Parliament and says, we are revising the budget and adding more expenditure, it means they are going to borrow and creating a more supply of money that will be chasing the same amount of goods, and that means you end up having inflation. You get what I'm saying? So if you've seen, like the current president now, what he's done is that if there is any revision, it is because there is a finance for that revision that has come and is new and it's not borrowed. Are we together? If it's not there, remain on where you are. The only way you can revise your budget is revising the lines that attend that budget. Does that make sense? Yep. Yes. Go to the next one.
Oh, so the next one really is just a comment. I think when you started and you were mentioning that we need to budget for everything to
Yes.
the dot.
Yes.
Okay. What we are spending and all that. Right. So it requires a lot of discipline. I think when you started, some of us were like, this is not realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not going to happen. I mean, how can you budget for even your stockings, you know, something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. But as you were talking, I just remembered something very, very recent thing that has, so I in South Africa, I'm on Discovery Medical Aid. So they introduced a Discovery Bank, okay, where they reward you for not going to the hospital. So they promote you to go for gym and all that, right? And then they reward you for not buying medication and all that. But also they reward you for how you spend. Okay. And I didn't know this. Okay. So I'm sure after this, my wife is going to say, let's see. I noticed that when I started using the Discovery Bank, automatically they are already allocating and creating a pie chart for me in terms of where you are spending. Okay. And they also reward you for keeping a minimum amount of money every month. So I started noticing that, you get points, you get points, you get points. You also get a lot. Yes. Okay. So now I was now thinking and saying, if the world is doing it and they are realizing that this is very important to keep people in a healthy state, mentally and physically, what more of us Christians? And we have all these principles. So it might look as if like this is, but the world is slowly going towards that. Okay. And I also have a friend who is a Muslim. He is very, very strict. They don't borrow and all those things. So I think these are good principles. It's just that we need to start implementing them, but they're quite good principles.
Thank you. Actually, I must have said here, I have quite a number of Muslim friends. I was just talking to one yesterday. They don't spend beyond what they have. And you see, what they do is that for them, even food, now for them, they even understand really that worship and business must be one. So what they do is that they even have a rag. You know what I mean? In the what? So that when time to pray, they just need what? I said, these chaps cannot be doing this to me. I bought a rag. So because when they find you in the office, they tell you, sorry, just give me a minute. I want to give praise to Allah. I've reached here. Then they say, don't mind, I'll be here. Then they'll go. While you are watching, I said, why can't I do that? I said, man, if I reach my office, first I'll sit down and say, thank you, God. I'll also go on my rag. Me, I'll make sure business and me and prayer is what? Because that's what they do. In a day, they'll go and worship. You in a day, what do you do? Am I lying? You don't see them. Then you are surprised that they just come here, they are poor. So what they do, they come in a country like here. You know what they do, madam? They buy one chicken. Madam, one chicken. Then they get a drumstick. In the whole family, they make soup of a drumstick and eat. You eat the whole chicken. Am I lying? And you are surprised you are poor. They learn to keep chicken, they eat it 10 times. Every part. How many parts are each kitchen? 13? Eh? How many? How many? You ladies, you know how to cut. How many parts are with the chicken? I don't know. 13, 10? You don't even know, huh? It's 10. 10 meals. You, one. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. They just make soup. And that part, they will just share and they'll all eat from the same plate. Yes. Then after that, they finish. Every Friday, they call me, we are eating today. Every Friday. So I go there, I meet them. Except it's always spicy and my stomach is. But they'll call me, sir, come, because I'm a director in the company. Every Friday. And I said, man, and when I started doing all of this, they started telling me, you are not Zambian. Because they know that us, we are always abusive when we have money. So when they see you are keeping money, you are not asking for money all the time, they're surprised. They leave you with 50,000, they find it next week, they are even surprised. Now they give you your body won't. Even here will know. You understand? I don't know what money does to us. Where is the problem? Is there something? If money can just do that kick in us, then there's a problem. So it shouldn't even in any way, shape, or form change us in any way. Is there any other? Any other? Yes, ma'am. And I've seen your hand, ma'am. Could this be the last two? Are we done on time? Yeah.
Okay, Elder Chata, thank you so much for
Yes.
enlightening us. I just want to ask one question. For example, us as Christians,
Yes.
I've budgeted, let's say, $1,000 per month
Yes.
for my family, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And then someone comes, they're in a they're in desperate need of something. Maybe the children have been sent away from school, and maybe even at church, there are people who come begging, and you can tell that the child is very sick. So where does that money come from? Because
Okay.
my budget have already,
Okay.
Yeah.
I let me answer this one quickly. Do you have those friends who will tell you that I am depending on you? You have a? So they offload all their pressure on you. Then they start calling you in the evening, starting from, and they tell you, give me today, I'm going to give you when? Tomorrow. So you test. You don't give them up to 19 hours. And they keep calling. You said, but tomorrow is just how many? 4 hours away. Wait, you will have your money. Then tomorrow comes, they are still calling you. But there are many people who know how to offload the pressure on others. Madam, please don't. You see, when they were having those children, they didn't know. They didn't know. The Indians and many others, immediately the day the woman conceives, they start keeping money. So that they don't have to trouble others for their children. They are your own. The one who cannot provide for his own, the Bible says, is wasteland and then what? An infidel. I don't want to be in that category. So if you are among, there are some of you here who like saying that you are the only one that is there. Tell them Jesus is the only one who died for everyone. I am not on that list. In fact, me, if they call 3-4 times, I even block them. I can show you my phone. I've got many that I've blocked because I do not have time to be pressured. You see what I mean? And I told them, now that I've reached 50, going ahead, pressure I don't want. Yes, let me put my pressure on my children. If it is you, I have no time. Please let me leave. And you see, the way my bald head is growing, if you begin it will go here so fast. I don't want. I cannot manage. And if it's your problem, why should you bring it on me? No, man, I'm not there. I'm telling you. If you hate me and say I'm not a Christian, it is you who is not. Why were you having children when you are not? You are just for who? For whom? For what? Please give her. Last one, then we close. Last one, then we close. Last one, then we close.
I wanted to get the same sort of advice or advice that you'd give.
Yes.
In the context of running a business.
Yes.
How do you balance the unpredictability of what you get of your income, since it's not set like a salary?
Yeah.
With trying to have a predictable kind of budget.
Yes.
And more particularly in the initial stages of running a business.
Yes. Okay, a business is more like a child. You don't get a lot out of a child other than the pleasure of having that child. So there is a lot that you're spending. So the initial stages is simply dousing the business until it reaches what is called a break-even point. But in your effort to reach there, you must make sure that you budget even for you. Now, the problem is that if you're running a business and you are the only one, you begin to think that every money that has come is all yours. Put a line for you in that business. The business and you are not the same. That's why it's registered at a place else as a human being in the country. And you're also registered somewhere as a human being. You are different. Is it making sense? Yes, so you can. So the business must give you a little amount of money. If it has finished, the business doesn't know you. It doesn't have feelings for you. So leave it. And when people say your business is making money, tell them, yes, it's a business. It's not me. We are not related, me and the business. And the fact that me and business are not related, even you is worse. Because if I'm not related to it, then what more you? It sounds very hard, but that's a reality. That's how our friends grow business. In fact, Africans, we are so nice. If you go to Europe, someone is 18 years old, they are telling them, go out of my house. You have grown. Us, we've got 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds sleeping and eating food. And I'm telling you, every morning going to flush the toilet. No, man. We can't be doing this. No, we love our children. Yes, it's African. I accept it because even me, I have some like that. But when they are there, tell them that I actually tell the older children, I tell them, continue having a good time because your time, immediate university is done. I've already made sure that there's a job for you. Now, I'll do one more. I will let you stay in your room for 2 years to keep enough money to go and rent. After that, my friend, I will just boot you out. Because now I'll say, I tell them every day, keep your money. So, this is the last part as I close. We would go, every December we go out. Now, this is a mistake I used to make. I used to make, Sister Busi. So, we go out. When we go out so we're at Yavani the other year. Now, I paid, I think, over 30,000 for rooms and breakfast. So, me, I'm the one who brought them. What I do is that in the morning, when I eat breakfast, I make sure I eat around 10. You know what I mean? The accountant, that is in me. Then I get some food to pack them. You know what I mean? Huh? Now, when you go into that hotel, I pass through ShopRite. I get Coca-Cola, Fanta, all of those two drinks. I come and put them in the fridge. At lunch, I get what I ate at brunch. I just eat. But I'm showing I'm in a hotel. And I've gone for a holiday. In the night, since I ate a lot, I just ask for soup, which is worth 30 kwacha. Soup. Soup is feeding. I eat. My children, they wake up at 7, they eat. They wake up, they go into the pool and they swim the whole day. And you see, when you're in the pool, energy goes. There are 3 of them, including my wife. Then at lunch, they come and eat. And each plate is 500 kwacha. Me, I am eating 30 kwacha. So every day, say, but what is wrong with you guys? So we stay there for 5 days. When I'm leaving, I am swiping my card is 25,000. Said, man, why am I going wrong here? So last time we went to Siavonga, just here near Kariba. So when we are leaving, I pay. I said, come, my friends. This time, I am making sure 15, 15, 15, 15. My wife, it was 2,000. I said, everyone has got money. And even me, I'm going to have 2,000. We go to that hotel. My friends, lo and behold, my children started waking up at 10. By the time it was 5 days, so what they were doing is that in the evening, then they make a simple board meeting. Then say, okay, today we are going to, 2 of us are going to buy a plate for 300. Yes, and so also I bought drinks, they kept them there. So they eat in the night. Suddenly they just come and buy 1 burger, they share. Now this is the funny part. At the end of the week, all of them had 900 kwacha remaining. And they were saying, and my last born daughter, she still has part of that money. I said, have you seen? No more. Even my wife was extravagant a little bit. I said, drinks I can maneuver, but my friends, no more. So when you go out for a hotel, please, you can't eat all of that lunch, breakfast that is there. Wake up at 10, man. It's a holiday. Keep aside. Come and eat in the night, soup, sleep. 1 week, you are done and dusted. God bless you all.